Champaign.
This is your WCIA3 forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical.
We are waking up this morning with partly cloudy skies. The cloud cover is quickly building on into the area, but this is going to be the final day with temperatures into the upper 70s, close to yet again 20 degrees above average. Again, one more day of the warmth. The rain does move in later this evening, and we do have some cooler temperatures that follow that system. I will have all the details on that coming up. WCIA3 News starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is The Morning Show on WCIA3 News, your local election headquarters.
It's the day after the election, and people all across the state went to the polls to vote for mayors, city council members, including referendums. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. The consolidated election happens on the first Tuesday in April, and we've received most of those results.
And Champaign has been having issues with their website, so many of those results will be updated throughout the morning.
But one of the biggest decisions in Champaign County, should the county get rid of the Recorder of Deeds office? This was a yes or no question on the ballot. We do have 51% of precincts reporting at this point in time, so things could change a little bit throughout the morning here. But right now, 55% of voters are saying yes, they do want that office to be eliminated. The Champaign County Clerk's office is still trying to work around some of those issues from last night.
And the website where results are typically posted was down yesterday, and it still isn't working at this point. And WCIA3's Karina Rubio joins us live in Urbana this morning to explain more. Good morning, Karina.
Hey, Matt, good morning. Now, taking a quick look at that website, clicking on precinct results, it does still say access denied when you try to click on either the summary of the votes or the precinct results. Now, County Clerk Aaron Ammons did say that it was odd to have that website down when that happened around 7 p.m. last night, but he says his office is currently investigating exactly why that issue is happening and continuing to happening into the morning right now. Now, he also says that he was excited about voter turnout yesterday, but thinks that participation could definitely use some improvement.
But the numbers are still way too low from what I like to see. I like to see us at more of like a 60-65% turnout in our local elections. Right now, I think we're going to be somewhere around 15 to 18,000 people.
Now, 15 to 18,000 people is about 12 to 15% participation out of the 120,000 registered voters in the county. 60% would look like about 72,000 voters heading to the polls. Now, the clerk's office did post photos of the summaries of the votes on Facebook, as well as some updates on Twitter. And as a reminder, as Christine and Mac have been mentioning, we do have the results on WCIA.com right now as well. Reporting live in Urbana, Karina Rubio, WCIA3, your local news leader.
All right, thanks, Karina. And here's a live look at our satellite radar right now for your Wednesday morning. Most areas right now are starting to see the cloud cover start to build on into the area. You might even be waking up to a little bit of drizzle in some areas. Nothing that is going to be too severe by any means. It's not going to be heavy until later on this evening. Now, you can see here in Champaign, this is a live look. You can see that cloud cover kind of filling the area. As of right now, the sunrise is starting to come up a little bit, so we are expecting a few peaks of sunshine throughout the day today, as well as some warmer temperatures. In fact, we're just a few degrees warmer than we even were at this point yesterday. So right now, already into the 60s here at 62 in Mattoon, 61 down south towards Effingham, 63 in Taylorville, also in Springfield, 62 in Decatur, and 65 both in Jacksonville and in Petersburg. A very mild start to our morning here. Leave the jackets at home today. You will not need them, but maybe a rain jacket by later this evening here. But the warmer temperatures, yet again, it's all thanks to these south winds. Pretty calm as of right now, but they will be on the breezy side here in the coming hours. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Amelia. Well, there are several city council seats up for grabs in Champaign. One of those is in District 1. Clarissa Nickerson Foreman is the current representative. She's facing off against David Williams and Azar Cobbs at this point. We only have 17% of the precincts reporting for this Wednesday. We have 47% of the votes so far going to Davion Williams. This race is still too close to call. In District 3, Angie Briggs did not seek for re-election. Danny Iniguez and Matt Sollard are vying for the same spot. 33% of the precincts reporting so far. We have 55% of the votes going to Danny Iniguez. At this point, we are still not calling that race as well. And in the fourth, Greg Stock is the incumbent competing against Michael Fulmer for this morning. We have 29% of the precincts reporting, 55% of the votes going to Michael Fulmer for the Champaign County District 4 spot. Again, too close to call for that race, too.
The Urbana City Council has 3 districts up for grabs. In Ward 2, there will be a new face there. Colin Dodson and Christopher Evans are running against each other. We have 25% of precincts reporting right now, 59% of those votes going to Christopher Evans. But once again, this is a Champaign County race, so those numbers are still coming in. We will continue to follow these races as well. In Ward 4, Bill Brown is not seeking re-election, so Jaya Colasetti is facing off against Mike Coble. He's a retired firefighter right now with 33% of precincts reporting. 82% of those votes are going to Jaya Colasetti. And in Ward 6, Bill Colebrook, the only Republican on the Urbana City Council, facing Grace Wilkins. She's an EIU grad student. We've got 50% of precincts reporting at 6 a.m. and 62% of those votes are currently going to Grace Wilkins. In Decatur, there are also 3 city council seats that are open.
That's right. 6 people are vying for those spots, and 2 of them are incumbents. David Horn and Chuck Cool are both incumbents. Ed Culp, Marty Watkins, Will Wetzel, and Jacob Jenkins are all vying for the same spot there. We have all precincts reporting at this point. Chuck Cool, David Horn, and Ed Culp will be taking those seats.
2 of the candidates who won have served on council before. They both served 4 years. There are a lot of issues they plan on addressing. Some of those include improving public safety, job creation, community revitalization, and they also want to bring in more jobs. Ed Culp ran for the first time this election and won.
I got in this race for the sole purpose of making my hometown better. We're all going through a difficult time right now, but I think I can help.
It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Decatur the past 4 years, and I look forward to continuing to be a public servant for our citizens.
We want this town to be a great place to raise a family, and I think me winning and Ed Culp and David Horn are going to make that happen.
The Macon County Clerk says voter turnout this election was low. Because of that, it was easy for judges to handle the number of voters at the polls.
In Danville, there are more city council seats up for grabs. In the 3rd Ward, there's no incumbent here, so it's a battle of newcomers. That includes Tamara Joyner and Heidi Pertau. 100% of the precincts reporting for Vermilion County out of the Danville City Council Ward 3 race. It looks like Heidi Pertau is going to be taking that spot with 56% of the votes at this point. And in the 4th Ward, Sharon McMahon, the independent, is running for a 5th term on council. Tricia Teague is her challenger there as well. 100% of those precincts reporting, with 59% of the vote going to Tricia Teague for Danville City Council Ward 4 spot.
In the Ward 6, Jim Poshard was appointed in 2019. His challenger is Alan Shepard, and with 100% of the votes in, 54% of those votes went to Jim Poshard. In Ward 7, Darren York has been in office since January. He's facing off against Kaylin Huber, an attorney, and 100% of precincts are reporting it is just by 1 vote that Darren York has won to represent Ward 7. A number of village president races as well. In Rantoul, incumbent Chuck Smith with 2 challengers, Gary Wilson, trustee there, and Kevin Williams. I'm going to step aside here so you can actually see the numbers, and it looks like a Chuck Smith. This is 50% of the precincts reporting here. Chuck Smith has 51% of those votes. It's still too close to call at this point in time. We will continue to follow these Champaign County races. In Mattoon, there will be a new mayor there as well. Sandra Graven has been serving as acting mayor on the ballot. Rick Hall, Preston Owen, Randy Hossel, and Alex Walker. Let's see these. 100% of the votes in. Rick Hall will be the Mattoon mayor with 42% of the votes. In Watseka, the incumbent John Allhands faces Mark Garfield and William Nutter, and it looks like 100% of the precincts are in. And John Allhands will continue to serve as Watseka mayor with 45% of the votes.
Hoopston, Bill Cruisenberry has served as mayor for about 3 terms, and he just earned another term. He went up against Mike Bain, who is a bus driver there. 100% of the precincts reporting this Wednesday for Hoopston mayor out of Vermilion County. It looks like Bill Cruisenberry is going to be taking that spot as well. And on to Douglas County and Arcola. There's a 4-way race, as current mayor Larry Ferguson is not seeking re-election. That race includes Jesus Garza, Mark Smith, Ricky York, and Sherilyn Kibler. 100% of precincts reporting Jesus Garza is going to be the next mayor of Arcola there too. And on to Jacksonville, Andy Azard, who has served as mayor since 2009, facing off against Nicole Riley. It looks like he is going to be keeping that spot. We are calling that race for Andy Azard for Jacksonville mayor out of Morgan County. And in Taylorville, Bruce Berry looking for a new term. His challenger is Bill Newberry there too. 100% of precincts reporting. It looks like Bruce Berry is going to be taking that spot with 63% of the votes. And in our local news, one person was shot in Urbana.
Yeah, we'll have the top news headlines of the day still to come on the morning show. We'll be right back.
All right, here's a live look at your storm tracker Doppler this morning. We are starting out dry, but building clouds into the area. We're even going to be seeing a slight low pressure system bring a few scattered showers, mainly just drizzle throughout the morning hours. So you might run into that, but we are going to be getting a little bit of a break as temperatures do start to rise here. We're going to be yet again into the upper 70s throughout central Illinois. In fact, we're starting out even warmer than we were yesterday. So really not a bad start to our morning here. And again, we are going to be seeing low pressure as well as a cold front moving in later this evening, but the majority of our day is actually looking to be dry, partly cloudy throughout most areas of central Illinois. But if you are in Champaign, expect mostly cloudy skies throughout the morning hours. Then it's going to break up slightly, but again, we do have the winds from the south as well, helping filter in those warmer temperatures today, which we're going to be reaching close to the 80s yet again today. But later on this evening, maybe consider either ordering in or cooking indoors tonight, because we're going to be seeing some showers and thunderstorms start to make their way into the area. It's going to be pretty late tonight. It's going to be around 8 p.m. we're thinking is when those showers and storms will really start to ramp up there right around I-57, heading towards about 10 to 11 p.m. So it is going to be pretty scattered, but keep in mind tonight is going to be an active one, and today is the final day of temperatures into the upper 70s. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing that cold front bring the cooler temperatures.
It's been feeling like summertime, so.
Right, we've been spoiled.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
It has been. It's spring, so it comes with showers, right?
That's right.
All right, thanks. Well, still to come on the morning show, we'll have more of your consolidated election results.
Plus, a fire destroys a village square. A closer look at the cause and how many buildings were impacted. We'll be right back.
You're watching your local news leader. This is The Morning Show on WCIA 3 News.
Well, officers say one person was hurt after a shooting.
This happened near Scottswood and Oregon Streets in Urbana last night. Police have not yet said how that person is doing, but they do believe this was an isolated incident. We will continue to follow this story and bring you updates as we learn more.
The entire side of the Pawnee Village Square burned to the ground. The 100-year-old buildings caught fire one after another as firefighters try to contain those flames. Village officials say because of the fire, there was no water and a boil order was issued until it returns. Several businesses caught fire, including a number of bars. The fire started at Copperhead's Bar, which opened just before the pandemic.
Then next thing you know, I saw it was Copperhead's, and it destroyed me. I mean, she finally got on her feet, and everybody was supporting her.
The mayor said nobody was hurt. The fire departments relied on water trucks coming from local utility companies and motor fuel donations from farming companies to keep their fire trucks for the 7-hour fight.
Here's an update this morning. 22-year-old Alea Lewis was given probation after pleading guilty to resisting a police officer. Champaign County State's attorney says Lewis admitted that last April she kicked and swung at an officer and caused him to break his thumb during a shots fired investigation. Lewis will serve a 1.5 years of probation and will have to finish 100 hours of community service.
Across the state, more than 2,900 new cases of the coronavirus were announced. 13 more people have died. More than 1,600 people are now in the hospital recovering. The positivity rate is still at 4.5%. As for vaccinations, more than 95,000 people got the shots on Monday. Our 7-day average is nearly 107,000 people. We're also slowly approaching a fifth of the entire state being fully vaccinated.
Vice President Kamala Harris made a stop in Illinois. She visited a COVID-19 vaccination site in Chicago focused on union workers. Several state leaders, including Governor Pritzker, were there as well. Harris praised union members for standing together and getting vaccinated and urged them to talk to their friends, family members, and coworkers about getting their shots, too. Iroquois County voters are deciding whether to move forward with a new school.
We'll have a look at the numbers and how much it could set back taxpayers. We'll be right back.
Okay, it is dog walking forecast time. This is Chloe Bell, courtesy of Brenda. Looks like Chloe Bell is the kind of dog who's just ready to watch the storms roll in from the window there. But throughout the day, it's really not going to be too bad to get those dogs out walking yet again today. It's going to be relatively dry. We are going to be seeing maybe some slight drizzles early this morning, but I do have green pause across the board here until later this afternoon because, again, it is going to be dry, warmer temperatures. We are going to be seeing that cloud cover build into the area, but the active weather really isn't coming in until later tonight. So you're pretty much good to go as far as getting outdoors throughout the majority of the day today. Now, looking at YOURCAST for temperatures for today, we are yet again going to be into the upper 70s. It's going to be feeling very summer-like, but this is going to be the last day for it. So in between the storms here, before it all comes in, I would recommend trying to get out and take advantage one last time here before temperatures cool off. So we're going to be at 78 in Paxton, also in Champaign and in Monticello. Off to the west, we're going to be into the upper 70s as well. 78 in Vandalia, also in Sullivan, Decatur, 77 in Taylorville, 76 in Litchfield, and then off to the eastern counties, we're going to be yet again into the upper 70s. So again, try to get out and enjoy it before the cold front moves in tonight and cools us off for the coming days.
Well, in Iroquois County, they are looking to build a new school in Watseka.
Yeah, they would close 2 schools that are in a floodplain, but they need more than $17 million to do it. And voters were on board with the property tax hike, with 78% of them saying yes to this.
And this project is more than 2 years in the making. The referendum will be funded by a $50 million FEMA grant, and $17 million will be funded by taxpayers there. Board members say this tax increase will be worthwhile.
It's a great thing for our education system. It's a great thing for our community, our town. It gets everything out of the floodplain, you know, all of our education spaces, and I couldn't be happier.
And the next step is to work with architects to design new school buildings.
In Tolono, current Mayor Robert Murphy with 2 challengers, Greg Klur and Terrence Stuber. Now let's take a look at that race here. With 33% of the precincts reporting right now, Robert Murphy has the lead with 48% of the votes for village president there. And voters in Christian County are deciding on a 1% sales tax that would generate more than $2.3 million a year to pay for upgrades to the jail and sheriff's office. This is a yes or no question on the ballot, and 100% of the precincts are reporting voters do not want that public safety tax.
And on to Savoy, voters are deciding on home rule. That would give village leaders more power to make their own rules there. 100% of the precincts reporting. This looks like a pretty close one here, with 52% saying no. That's 310 votes to 288. Shall the village of Savoy become a home rule? That's out of Champaign County there as well. In Tilton, David Phillips has been mayor for 20 years, and he will keep his job. He went up against David Cornett, who's the Tilton police chief there. 100% of the precincts reporting, with 83% of voters casting their ballots for David Phillips in Vermilion County. And remember, for all the latest results from the election, you can head to our website at WCIA.com. Well, it's one of the biggest decisions in Champaign County.
Voters are deciding whether to get rid of the Recorder of Deeds office. We'll have the results coming up right after this.
from your local news leader, Christy Batista, McLeod Hageman, and Amelia Henderson. This is a special edition of The Morning Show, your local election headquarters.
And thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Wednesday. Halfway through the week, not feeling too shabby. A nice start to the day. I know it's going to get a little dicey later on.
Yeah,
We'll see.
so take care of yourselves tonight. But, you know, we got lucky the past few days, so can't complain about that.
Absolutely.
Here's a look at today's top headlines.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
One person recovering from a shooting, where it happened, and whether any arrests have been made. Plus, a massive fire in Pawnee. 100-year-old building is catching fire. How many people were impacted? And Iroquois County voters deciding whether to build a new school in Watseka. The latest numbers coming into our newsroom. Those stories and more still to come on The Morning Show. Well, it is one of the biggest decisions in Champaign County.
Should the county get rid of the Recorder of Deeds office? Right now, we have 51% of precincts reporting, so this could change a little bit throughout the day today. But at this point in time, 55% of voters are saying yes, they are wanting the Recorder of Deeds office to be eliminated. The Champaign County Clerk's Office is still trying to work around some issues from last night. That's why we're seeing that 51% of precincts reporting for that one in particular.
That's right. The website where results are typically posted was actually down yesterday, and it still isn't working at this point. And WCIA 3's Karina Rubio joins us live in Urbana this morning with the very latest. Good morning, Karina.
Hey, Matt, good morning. Now, if you go to that website right now and click on either precinct results or county summary, it's just a white screen that comes up, and it says, if you can see it there, just a white screen with the words access denied. Now, County Clerk Aaron Ammons did say that he found it odd last night when the site went down around 7 p.m. He says he and his team are still investigating the exact reason why this is happening and still continuing to happen into the morning hours here, but the clerk's office did post photos of the vote summaries on Facebook and had been tweeting updates as well throughout the night. Now, Clerk Ammon said he was excited by the voter turnout, but thought participation could always use some improvement.
But the numbers are still way too low from what I like to see. I like to see us at more of like a 60-65% turnout in our local elections. Right now, I think we're going to be somewhere around 15 to 18,000 people.
Now, 15 to 18,000 people is about 12 to 15% participation out of the 120,000 registered voters in the county. Now, make sure you stay with WCIA online and on air. We will be checking in with the clerk's office about that website issue, see if they've maybe pinpointed a reason and when that site will be back up. Reporting live in Urbana, Karina Rubio, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, thanks, Karina. And no matter where you're waking up in central Illinois, it is a little bit on the gloomy side. We've got that cloud cover building into the area. So as you can see in Charleston, a little bit on the gloomy side there. But hey, we are still going to be seeing a little bit of sunshine peeking through those clouds throughout the day today. That sun is starting to rise there, so do expect some sunshine peeking through in the coming hours. But looking at FUTURETRACK for today, we do have, again, the south winds here filtering in some warmer air. Here's the cloud cover. You might be running into maybe some slight drizzle early on, but we are going to get a little bit of a break in the action. So if you do work outdoors, do construction, you're still going to be able to get your job done throughout the day today, as the majority of the day is actually looking to be dry. But later this evening and this afternoon, we are going to be seeing this next system roll in along with this cold front. It's going to be right along I-55 here. We're thinking around 8 p.m., continuing to lift northeast, though, and it will break up a little bit the further it does come into central Illinois, and then mainly just showers by the early start of tomorrow morning, becoming a little bit more scattered throughout the day on Thursday and even Friday as well. So definitely keep that in mind. It is going to be a little bit of an active next few days here. So looking at the next 3 days, again, we do have the scattered showers off and on. We will see some dry patches throughout the day on Thursday, lingering into your Friday with more rain showers on Saturday as well. So while it's dry today, try to get out and enjoy the warmth and the dry conditions while it is still with us. It's not going to be around much longer. Christy Mack, back to you.
The Urbana City Council has 3 districts up for grabs.
That's right. In Ward 2, there is a brand new face there. Colin Dodson with the Socialism and Liberation Party is in the spots against Democrat Christopher Evans there. It looks like 25% of the precincts reporting out of Champaign County at this point. 59% of voters so far are leaning toward Christopher Evans. That is the Urbana Alderman Ward 2 spots.
In Ward 4, Bill Brown is not seeking re-election. Jaya Colasetti is facing off against Mike Coble. He's a retired firefighter. We have 33% of precincts reporting right now, and 82% of the votes are currently going to Jaya Colasetti to represent Ward 4. In Ward 6, Bill Colebrook, the only Republican on the Urbana City Council, facing Grace Wilkin, an EIU grad student. 50% of precincts reporting. Once again, this is because we are still waiting for those Champaign County votes to come in because the clerk's office website is down. But we do right now have Grace Wilkin with 62% of the votes to represent Ward 6. It was a great day to plant for farmers.
That's right. And still to come on the morning show, we'll catch up with someone in the field to talk to. I'll be right back.
Now, the morning show from your local news leader.
Well, farmers have been busy planting this week, and it's been perfect weather for it.
Yeah, WCIA3's ag reporter Stu Ellis has more in this morning's report from the farm.
Good morning, everyone. We are in the planting season, starting off with our weekly reports on crop updates, visiting the farm of Pete Pistorius, just to the southwest of Decatur. Pete, early April here, is this a normal time that you're planting soybeans?
You know, it's probably earlier than when we typically plant soybeans, but the conditions are really good. Temperatures are good, ground's working nice, so we feel like it's a good time to be going.
And you've got a good forecast ahead generally that they should be popping out of the ground here real soon.
You know, we do. The forecast looks relatively good. You know, there's no major cold fronts coming through, a little bit of moisture, but nothing to be concerned about. So we feel like it's a good time to get out and get an early start on some beans.
Seed treatments, anything on, what's on that real estate?
Sure. You know, we're using seed treatment on all of our soybeans. So we have a fungicide and an insecticide, and we're also using a product called Olivo, which is helping with sudden death. So, yeah, we're putting the full boat on those things to try to give as much protection as we can in case we would have any type of cold weather coming at us.
Okay, will you overlap planting with corn, or how is that going to be scheduled?
Yeah, you know, right now we're kind of holding back on the corn planting. Maybe just waiting to see that we have a longer warm forecast. But I would say if things kind of hold as they are, within the next week we'll be planting corn as well as soybeans.
You've got some early soybeans going in, maybe a good opportunity for some early delivery ahead of the rush of everybody this fall.
Yeah, you know, you know, planting early is as much of a risk management tool as maybe even planting late in the year. We need to spread our risk out throughout the year, so maybe we get some of this stuff planted early, and we'll open this up to some markets so we can deliver in an early fall.
All right, our appreciation to Pete Pistorius here this morning. That's our report from the farm. I'm Stu Ellis with WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Some people are dumping their pets at one humane society in central Illinois.
And still to come on the morning show, how it's creating a real problem for workers and those animals. We'll be right back.
All right, 6:43 here on your Wednesday morning, where we are starting out with partly cloudy skies throughout most areas of central Illinois. But depending on where you're at, it is a little bit cloudier in some areas as the cloud cover is starting to build on into the area. And you can see just off to the west here, there is this next system starting to make its way east. But this system is actually going to be lifting northeast. So it will just bypass the viewing area, at least for most of us. Some areas might be getting a little bit of some drizzle with that system, but we will be getting getting a little bit of a break from all of this activity here throughout the majority of the day. So the core of your day is actually looking to be dry with warmer temperatures yet again. It's the last day with temperatures into the warmer side, into the upper 70s is what we will be reaching. So try to get out and enjoy it. We are already a few degrees warmer than we were at this point yesterday morning. So we're already close to 60 degrees in Champaign, 62 in Mattoon, 60 down south towards Effingham, 65 pretty warm there in Petersburg, as well as Jacksonville off to the west there. So it is going to be a very mild start to the morning. Leave the jackets at home, but you might consider a rain jacket by later this evening. Again, we are going to be seeing some breezy winds as well throughout the day. So just keep that in mind. Some active weather by later tonight. Back to you.
Well, a lot of people go to the Humane Society to pick out a new pet, but some people in Effingham are doing the exact opposite. That's right. They're dumping their animals after the building has actually been closed, leaving people who work there in a pretty tough spot. In WCIA3's Jessica Coons has that story.
6 cameras are mounted around the Effingham County Humane Society building. They catch some, but not all of what happens outside. And one night, they failed to catch something illegal. 3 huskies were left here, 2 inside of the pens, another wandering around. It was a dangerous situation for volunteers.
They walk out there thinking there's not going to be any dogs, but the one they've got on leash, and all of a sudden they're approached by 3 strange dogs. Our volunteers can get hurt, the dogs can get hurt. It's just all around a bad thing.
This isn't the first time animals have been left here. Sometimes kittens are left out near the front doors. Sometimes they're left in these shrubs, left out in bad weather and to fend for themselves against other wildlife.
So they have to sit there for 12 hours until we come back. And we have predatory animals in the area, everything from foxes to eagles that can attack them.
The dogs recently left behind were given to animal control and then transferred to husky rescues.
We only have so much room. Our little Funkhauser school can house a lot of animals, but we can't house them all. We have to evaluate every single dog that comes in here, and we don't take every single dog because we have to make sure that the dogs are going to work with our volunteers. One dog will see 8 different volunteers in one day's time.
Employees believe the person who dumped those dogs knew how to avoid getting caught, so they came up with a solution, buying an additional 8 cameras to cover every angle of the building. But paying for them was a problem.
We haven't had a fundraiser now for over a year with the COVID. So it's been, we've been watching the balance sheet pretty carefully. When you're in a situation like that, you don't know when you're going to be able to raise funds again. You have a tendency to hold back on any major expenditures.
They turned to the community for help. In just a couple of days, they raised enough money to buy them in hopes the extra set of eyes will stop this from happening again. It's their best option for keeping the animals and their volunteers safe.
I try to say we can't help them all, but we can save one at a time. And that's what we have to do. You know, we're not going to save them all, but maybe if everybody together, we can.
And the Humane Society hopes to have the new cameras installed within the next month. Employees can't pinpoint why people dump their animals anonymously. They'll provide people with some options if they simply call ahead. Well, a 2-year-old is now recovering from a shooting. Still to come on the morning show, where that happened and whether police have anybody in custody.